facts. There's the story, the book I do want to talk about is it's similar in that it also looks at the mind, and it's a clever title, of course, egonomics as opposed to economics, and it says that our ego is at the same time our greatest asset and our greatest liability. And in terms of relevance for anyone in business, SME or anybody else, is that we have to be smart enough to acknowledge when we are being overtaken by ego, and ego definitely gets in the way of a lot of decision making. And again, there are lots of these books now on the brain, on irrationality, and all these irrational books. Even our friend Black Swan, Taleb. We think we know what makes the world go round. Actually, we're fooling ourselves, because what we thought was cause and effect is often the other way around. Now, they don't specifically, he doesn't, it's two people, isn't it? Smith, David Marcus and Stephen Smith. Not Marcus, Markham. They don't use the same idiom of cause and effect, but in fact, they speak a lot about it. A very nice story. A small company found itself in a bidding war for some retail software contract with Foot Locker. Foot Locker is the famous shoe shop, a shoe chain. And they were up against IBM. And because they were up against IBM, they went into the interview with the CEO and pretended to be bigger than they were. Without lying, they gave the impression that the company was bigger, more clients, bigger record maybe, because they knew they were up against IBM. And the CEO listens very attentively to this, and at the end of their presentation he says, thank you very much. Obviously you're very well qualified, but we have had problems in the past dealing when a big company is working with us, because we got lost. We were not treated with a specific nurturing that we would expect or that we demand. So I'm awfully sorry, but we're going to go for a small company. And it's a wonderful example, of course, of how ego can totally screw up what we're trying to achieve. The very thing that they thought they were achieving was held against them. Very nice story. Another nice story from the same book. They jump around because they look at so many different facets of ego. Decision making, listening. Very good chapter on what awful listeners we are. And they've got 5 degrees of listening. 5 levels. I don't listen to you or your idea because you're the enemy. I don't listen because I'm indifferent to what you have to say. I do listen, but only in order to counter what you say and then make my point. I listen for common ground between what you think and what I think, and I listen for your point of view completely and accurately. And again, in communication skills for anyone in business, it's a very good classification of the way we do and don't listen. And of course, if we are in the first 3 levels, we are not listening, and we should therefore not be at all surprised when things go badly wrong. A very interesting story on another tack altogether. One of the authors, his air conditioner went on the blink. He called in a repairman. Repairman turns up with his clipboard. He's got 20 boxes he has to tick. He ticks all the boxes. Nothing wrong. So he adds Freon to the air conditioner. And he explains, he says, I found nothing wrong. The air conditioner doesn't need Freon. But hey, maybe it's that. Because if it isn't, then you're going to have to get a new air conditioner. And off he went. And of course, next day, air conditioner isn't working. So Steve Smith phones up the company again and he says, I want a different repairman this time. They said, why? This was our best man. No, I want somebody else. So another guy turns up, does exactly the same, goes through the 20 things, bop, 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 bop. Nothing wrong with it. And then instead of turning around and giving some sort of spiel that he could have done about, listen, you need a new one, blah, 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 he stood in front of the air conditioner for 15 minutes looking at it. Just looking at this non-functioning air conditioner. And then he said, I think I know what this is about. And he goes to the wall, which encases the furnace part of the air conditioner, makes a hole in the wall, puts his hand in, and says, yes, I thought that might be the problem. It's not the air conditioner, but when it was installed, the people installing it forgot to cover the filter. And so everything is working, but it's not working. And it was working. Egonomics says the difference between the two repairmen, and this is where the business analogy comes in, is that the first guy, best practice, absolutely, perfect, he did everything right. But he had what they call state curiosity. State curiosity is a curiosity that only gets sparked when something happens, when something needs curiosity, curiousness. Okay. The second repairman had what's called trait curiosity. He's always on fire. Every minute he's looking around. Why is that there? What is that? What's the function of that? Why doesn't that? Says, you want something done, you want to move, you want to innovate, you want to get the real best that you can from any situation, you need guys with trait curiosity. They don't need sparking. They always spark, and they will shake a bone until they've got to the meat.